Hi, my name is Alejandro, and I'm part of the hardware development team at Ecofy. Today, I'm going to show you how to install an analog sensor, for example, an irradiance sensor. Now, we will have a look on how to connect an analog sensor into one of our boxes. The data logger and the distribution board are normally inside the box. For showing purposes, we took them out so it's easier to show it to you. On the distribution board, you will see AI1 to AI4, meaning analog input 1 to analog input 4. Now, you will have one of our cables with the connector and, of course, your sensor, which has to be connected. On the documentation, which is also inside the box, you will see which color of the cable means what. For example, the yellow cable is the ground and the power supply is the brown one. Please make sure to check the documentation of the analog sensor and connect the cables accordingly. There are two types of analog inputs. The first type is 4 to 20 milliamperes and the second type is 0 to 10 volt. With our data logger, you will be able to read both of them, but you have to be sure that the parameters are set. The standard configuration of the data logger is analog input 1 and 2 are set to be 0 to 10 volt and analog input 3 and 4 are set to be 4 to 20 milliamps. If you want to connect an analog sensor, please check also on your sensor which type of input it is. For example, here we have a solar irradiance sensor and it is type 0 to 10 volt. So I will be sure to connect it on analog input 1 or 2. If you have more than 2 sensors of the same type, for example 3 sensors of 0 to 10 volt, you will be able to set the parameters at the back of the data logger. To remove the data logger, you will need to put out the socket and then open the data log. It's important to mention that these two components will be always inside the box. After you have done this, you will be able to turn the data logger around and see the configuration parameters. You will see that analog input 1 and 2 are set down, that means 0 to 10 volt, and analog input 3 and 4 are set up, that means 4 to 20 milliamps. As I mentioned before, if you want to configure more than 2 of the same type, you will be able to do it here. For example, if we want to configure analog input 3 to be also 0 to 10 volt, you can move this pin down and now you can use analog input 3 to read an analog sensor from 0 to 10 volt. After you have done this, please put the data logger again inside and connect the socket.